The Margaret Cho podcast from Erios is funny, sensitive, and a little quirky, just like the comedian herself. Each week, Margaret sits down for an intimate interview with celebrity guests like Queer Eye's Jonathan Van Ness, filmmaker Quentin Tarantino, or up-and-coming artists you should know. The conversations go deep, ranging from discussions about identity and beauty to finding yourself late in life. Listen to The Margaret Cho wherever you get your podcasts. This is a CBC podcast.
This podcast is an extended version of The Debaters, which may contain more mature themes. To stream the radio-friendly version of this episode, download the CBC Listen app or go to cbc.ca/thedebaters. And thanks for listening to the CBC.
Hey Canada, are you ready for the maritime of your life? From St. John, New Brunswick, it's The Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man who sure loves comedy, Steve Patterson.
Hey! Hello, everyone! Hello, Canada! Welcome back to The Debaters. It is great to be here in New Brunswick. Yes! St. John, New Brunswick, more specifically. I've noticed that here in St. John, you don't abbreviate the saint in your city's name like they do in St. John's. Has anyone else noticed that? It's surprising that they don't do the full word saint over in Newfoundland. Maybe it's because they're so exhausted from having to write out Newfoundland and Labrador all the time. Or maybe Newfoundland and Labradorians have been saying the whole word this whole time. They just talk a lot faster. Anyway, are you ready to meet your debaters, or as they would say in Newfoundland, let's do it. At the risk of sounding redundant, this comedian tries to avoid sounding redundant. It's Kyle Brownrigg. Kyle Brownrigg, making his way to the stage, striding across, taking the podium to my right. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
And this comic won't share her fish, and she doesn't give a carp. It's Lori Elliott. Lori Elliott. The delightful Lori Elliott.
Hello.
Taking her place at the podium to my left. This topic is perfect for the fall, and I can't wait to hear what we do with this. Pumpkin and pumpkin products. Can you ever get enough of them? St. John is the site of an annual pumpkin smashing competition hosted by a local rock station where people heave pumpkins off the roof of Market Square. Whoever gets closest to the target wins $1,000, while the person furthest from the target has to try to avoid being charged $1,000 for bouncing a pumpkin off a police officer's head. Time for a debate that you will all fall for. So, whereas it is the most iconic part of the season, be it resolved, come fall, you can never get enough pumpkin. Lori, you arguing for this, please. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. All right. Well, I love all things pumpkin. Yes, I am one of those people. Come fall, I bleed orange. I especially love pumpkin spice lattes, or PSLs, as I like to call them. They're like drinking liquid Pottery Barn. I just chug them down, and orange lasers shoot out of my eyes, turning leaves beautiful colors, turning my Crocs into Wellington boots, and turning my group of friends into a brunch of women. I love it so much. But OMG, or oh my gourd, not everyone loves us pumpketeers. We're constantly under attack for being basic. And now, I know there are a great many closeted pumpkin spice coffee lovers here in the crowd tonight, or Starbucks and Tim Hortons wouldn't have sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth since Zero BP, or before pumpkin. But we're shamed so much that you'll often see us order one for our idiot loser friend, who we feel so sorry for. But hurry up, I'm late for book club. And yes, the book is Eat, Pray, Love. It's always Eat, Pray, Love. But why such shame? They're the muse to so many life-changing innovations. For example, underneath my top, I'm wearing a pumpkin spice bratte from Wonder Bra. The cup size is espresso because I have small boobies. I do. Pumpkins are comfort food, triggering happy memories of friends, family, and holidays, like Halloween, the original pumpkin tradition, where in the early evening you see kids trick-or-treating in silly costumes, and then later that night at a bar you might see a drunk Shrek slow dancing with someone in a sexy poop emoji costume. It's how I met my husband. I was Shrek. What I'm trying to say is that if you hate pumpkins, you hate children. And you hate love. Thank you.
Lori Elliott. Lori Elliott. I didn't know she liked pumpkins that much. Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Steve.
Now, to tell us why he's not so pumped about pumpkins, it's the always spicy Kyle Brownrigg.
Webster's Dictionary defines pumpkin as an orange squash that white women have ruined for everyone. Pumpkin has gotten way out of control. What started out as a harmless drink at Starbucks has become a seasonal corporate bloodbath marketed to girls named Jessica. And we are in the eye of the storm, people. It's not just a latte anymore. They now have pumpkin spice body lotion, pumpkin spice shampoo, pumpkin spice body spray. Ladies, are you trying to pickle yourselves? When does it stop? I was at the shopping mall and I saw a pumpkin spice deodorant. Pumpkin spice deodorant. If you can only buy your deodorant once a year, you're gross. Like, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just seriously questioning your decision-making skills, and I don't think you should be able to vote anymore. Pumpkins are frauds. That's probably why the President of the United States looks like one. They are frauds. Pumpkin doesn't actually have a flavor. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice, that's delicious, right? Honey, that's not the pumpkin. What you're tasting is the cinnamon, the ginger, the allspice, the nutmeg. But who's taking all the credit? The pumpkin, because it's the worst. The only good thing a pumpkin has ever done was take Cinderella to the ball, and even then, it crashed. Thank you.
Kyle Brownrigg. Yeah. Kyle Brownrigg taking the pumpkin down. Time now for the bare knuckle round. We're asking whether you can ever get enough pumpkin. So debaters, use your melons to spice up your arguments, carve out your positions, and then squash your opponent's ideas. You can patch things up later if you want, after the loser has conceded to the winner. Orange, you glad I'm almost done with these pumpkin puns? I'm trying to Halloween myself off them, but if you think that this is easy, well, you don't know jack o' lanterns.
Boom.
Go ahead.
Boom. Well, okay, first of all, I'd like to ask you, Kyle, how did you know my middle name was Jessica? And no, but seriously, you mentioned seeing a pumpkin spice deodorant at the mall, and I just wanted to ask what mall and what store?
In H&M in the basics section.
Oh, yeah, totally. Okay, that's my favorite section. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot listen to someone like Lori Elliott. Look at her. She looks like she was born in a pumpkin patch. A pumpkin patch kid, if you will. It's a lot like a Cabbage Patch Kid. It's just a lot less diverse. It only comes in white trash.
Whoa. Shots fired. Shots fired. Lori, are you going to take that?
Wow.
You know what? Okay, listen, now that I'm thinking about it, I would like to purchase that doll.
Yes, I think you should, Kyle. I think you should, because Cabbage Patch Kids are very expensive. But you can buy me for a pack of smokes and a case of 50.
Sold.
All right. I just want to, I don't understand why Kyle hates them so much when they are so useful, because I'm not making this up. I just tried the new pumpkin spice coffee enema the other day, and my husband walked into the bathroom after, and he said, "It smells great in here, Lori," and I said, "Thanks."
Okay, we're done. That's the bare knuckle round. We are debating whether you can ever get enough pumpkins here on The Debaters on CBC Radio 1 or on Sirius Satellite, or you might be listening on a podcast, or you might be listening on the app, or you might be here. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on pumpkins brought to you by the Pumpkin Patch. The Pumpkin Patch, what people wear when they're trying to quit pumpkin spice lattes. The village of Neguac, New Brunswick, has held what pumpkin-based event since 1995? Kyle.
The Grow It and Show It Pumpkin Fest.
Hello.
That is a pretty good name for a festival of farmers that might not get what you're actually talking about.
I don't
Not
get
what I
it,
have here,
but I
but-
want to get it. Yes.
Lori's getting excited.
I'm
Lori Elliott.
going to guess pumpkin spice, The Purge. One day only.
It's actually called the Giant Pumpkin Provincial Festival. I like Grow It and Show It. I think we should change it right
I
now.
gotta say I like that too.
I think we should change it right now. According to the Farmer's Almanac, pumpkins were once thought to cure snake bites, and what else? Kyle.
White privilege.
Incorrect, but the audience has given you 2 more points. Very good.
I'm gonna guess.
Lori Elliott.
I think it was they were thought to cure the mumps, because remember that saying? Got mumps? Give it the pumps. It's,
Nope. Nope.
let's give it.
I think
Yeehaw! It's like Grandma used to do.
you're not going to believe
Okay.
this, Lori, but they were once thought to cure snake bites and freckles.
Oh,
What unlikely brand announced a limited edition pumpkin spice flavor in 2019?
oh wait, no.
Lori.
Pumpkin spiced Morier Special Mild Slim 100s.
Incorrect. Incorrect. It's not a cigarette. Kyle.
Tampax.
Woo! This is weird. The brand that announced a limited edition pumpkin spice flavor in 2019 was Spam. Pumpkin spice flavored Spam. Have you had Spam? It can't get worse. They might as well add stuff to it. And that's the firing line, everybody. It's almost time for our Imperial Theater audience here in beautiful St. John, New Brunswick to pick a winner. But first, here again to say that only backwards bumpkins like pumpkins. It's the forward-thinking Kyle Brownrigg.
I hate the pumpkin spice latte personally because I used to be a Starbucks barista. And you never wanted to be working on the first day of the year when that came out, because do you know what's waiting for you on the other side of the door when you go to unlock it? An army of Ugg boot wearing, Canada Goose sporting, Taylor Swift loving, How I Met Your Mother DVD box set owning, Michael Kors watch wearing, Sephora online shopping, yoga pant wearing, even though, girl, you don't go to yoga. Tiara on her birthday sporting, live, laugh, love, wall decals, and picture frame owning basic white girls. When they came into the store, it was violent. It was like watching the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan. Let's end the violence. Let's end pumpkin. Thank you.
Kyle Brownrigg. Yes, with a very thorough, descriptive, and very specific closing argument on why pumpkins are not good. Gonna feel hard for Lori to not feel personally attacked on that.
Well, it's like you just read my dating profile.
Now here again to tell us that from stem to seed, pumpkins, what you need, it's pumpkin loving Lori Elliott.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I will admit it, I am basic. I am. The only time I wear yoga pants is for the stretch after eating an entire pumpkin pie, for sure. But I'm tired of being othered because I'm a woman who likes something a lot of other women like. I mean, if I were a guy who loved pumpkin, I'd be the coolest cat in town. I'd be all, oh yeah, everyone wants to touch my wiener because I've got pumpkin steaks on the grill. Bro. Ladies. But no, I'm just a freckly white woman of a certain age who puts wigs on pumpkins and pretends they're her kids. Whatever. But if you vote for me, I'll send you my recipe for pumpkin spice pot cookies. Because yes, us basics like to get lit before our Big Little Lies marathons. And in conclusion, this planet is screwed. So when it comes to pumpkin, I say let's just get back to basics. Thank you.
Lori Elliott. Nice job, Lori. Nice job. Took ownership of it. Imperial Theater audience, it is up to you to pick a winner. By applause, who thinks that Lori's pumpkin punchlines were perfection? Lori Elliott. Okay. A lot of love for Lori. And who thinks Kyle's pumpkin bashing was the most smashing? Kyle Brownrigg. That's it. Woo! It's over. It's over. The winner is Kyle Brownrigg, down with the pumpkins already. Big hand for Kyle Brownrigg and Lori Elliott, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio. Want to be a part of the debating action? For tickets to an upcoming taping, visit cbc.ca/thedebaters. That's cbc.ca/thedebaters. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
I'm Trana Winter.
And I'm Thomas LeBlanc.
Welcome to Chosen Family. Every second week, we talk about art, sexuality, and identity with a special guest. Usually queer, but not always.
I completely struggled coming out to my parents as a comedian. Being in the entertainment industry for Middle Eastern people is unheard of.
Affecting change requires people to shake it up.
Listen to Chosen Family wherever you get your podcasts.
What sign are you, by the way?
I'm an Aries.
Of course. I love it.
Hey, St. John, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? Well, then let's do it. This comic never writes the letter T because there's some lines he just won't cross. It's Derek Sagan. Derek Sagan, there he is. Crowd favorite, Derek Sagan. And don't flatter this comedian's waffles or you're liable to send him on an ego trip. Welcome, James Mullinger. James Mullinger. Your topic springs from right here in New Brunswick, Canada's only official bilingual province. British versus French, which culture is superior? It's about time. It is about time. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that here in New Brunswick, we're not discussing Scotland's contributions to culture. Everything's here, from eating a sheep's stomach to playing the sheep's stomach as an instrument. I know most of you are thinking, ew! But my writers insisted that last joke not be kilt. So, whereas it's royally revered for its sophistication, be it resolved that British culture is superior to French culture. James, naturally you are arguing for this. You have 2 minutes, please, starting now.
Now, obviously, living in Canada's only officially bilingual province is a privilege. And I, of course, love the New Brunswick French because I have to say that or I'll be deported. But French culture, that's what we call in English an oxymoron. Great Britain, it's in the name. Land of Shakespeare, Downton Abbey, Coronation Street. You'll believe it. And binge drinking. Don't get me wrong, the French are great at many things. Food, philandering, chain smoking. But culture? England gave you Harry Potter. France gave you Caillou. French culture is so bad that 3 British prime ministers in a row have risked sinking the entire UK economy just to disassociate itself with bloody France. And let's be honest, when Britain decides to separate from something, we actually have the balls to go through with it. Very slowly, obviously. Everything about French culture is just ugh. The accent is just wrong. Any phrase sounds better in English. Think of any great cultural phrase in English, like to be or not to be. That is the question. Now hear it in French. Hoi hoi ho, hoi hoi ho, hoi hoi ho, la questione. Les Miserables is the most popular and successful piece of culture about the French. But the only way to make it bearable was to have every French character speak in a posh English accent. The only good that can come from this discussion is that Cigin, Sougon, Cigin, Scone finally has an opportunity to hear how words are pronounced when they're pronounced correctly.
James Mullinger. Wow. Going right at it. Now, to tell us why French culture is très supérieur, here's French funny man, Derek Seguin.
Thank you. British culture? If British culture was so great, why wouldn't it stick around after all the British rulers left? Canada was founded by the French and the British. French culture, still here. British, not so much. And they rule longer. We don't even speak the same language anymore. I can understand English here in St. John, right? The Canadian English, I understand. But British, like James there, the hell is that? Yeah. Sound like you have a crumpet in his mouth. I don't even know what a crumpet is, but I think it's in his mouth. I don't know many Brits, but I know James. He's been a guest in my house. So if British culture is to invade your home, eat your food, drink your booze, look at your daughters inappropriately, and mess up your stuff and laze around all day and be waited on, then I say stick your ethnocentric culture in the union sack. Yeah, because you get it like a Union Sack, Union Jack. It's like, I know, I already won. At least French is a culture, like with good food and good drink that we're famous for, cheese, wine, bread, right? Never have anybody say, oh, let's have some yummy London cheese. Let's crack open a bottle of that British vintage. No. Do they even eat anything but fish and chip? Sack. No, so cultural. Not even a specific kind of fish. Not like salmon tartare or like pan-sear. No, just fish. N'importe quoi. Everywhere that Britain have colonized, invade, no, everywhere they go, what's happened is first, the people, they revolt, because they're revolting. That's how every revolution started. It was just like, ugh, I can't listen to these people anymore. And then the place separates from Britain, and then finally they change the language and the accent so that they don't sound like these jerks. They all change it different, like Canada and the US and the Barbados and Australia. They all change it different, but they all change it so they don't sound like that obnoxious twit over there. Thank you.
Derek Seguin, fighting for the French culture versus the British culture. He has a good point, that British fish and chips. What is the fish, James? What are they holding out on that?
Anything battered.
These are good. Why? And why did you look at his daughters like that?
To be fair, we were in a strip club at the time.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Whoa. Shots
It's really
fired.
too bad physical violence doesn't translate to radio.
Okay. Fancy that. It's time for the bare knuckle round. We're debating if English culture beats that of the French, so find your church hill to climb and play your Bonaparte. In order to anorak up some points, you've got to make life Les Miserables for your opponent by double-decking them. Then drawing on your verbal Shakespeare and stabbing them right in the Dickens. I'll keep a French open mind, but know that I've got my London eye on you both.
The British don't even have culture. Like, culture is things that take place like at the Montreal Museum of Fine Art or at the Louvre. Britain, Royal Museum of Art. Right? In France, they have l'Opéra Bastille or Place des Arts in Montreal. There, it's the Royal Albert Hall. It's not a culture, Tabarouette. It's a freaking cult. Everything's royal. The royal this, the royal that.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
The royal family is not a cult, because in a cult, people actually do what the leader tells them.
And did you hear him make fun of my name? My name is like 5 or 6 letters. How many letters are in my name? 6. And he can't pronounce it. I'm French, but I can still say Mullinger. And I can pronounce it in my language too, Mullinger, which you probably don't know this, James, but it means real dipsh with a bad haircut. It's not commonly used in our vernacular.
My hairdresser is actually French-Canadian, by the way.
Right, yeah. A lot of people pretend to be in those jobs, but you'd be surprised.
If I haven't yet sold you on the ignorance of Derek Seguin,
oh, man.
May I ask you this? Go on his website and see where it says he's performing tonight. It says he's performing in a city called St.John.
Whoa.
Okay. All right, let's stop it there. This is a good one. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on French versus English culture, brought to you by Bacterial Culture, or as you describe it to your children, yogurt. In 1940, Great Britain and France discussed merging into one country to better challenge Nazi Germany. What was the proposed name for the new country? James.
Canada.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought that would get more, but Derek Seguin.
I don't know what they were going to call it, but it all fell apart when France insisted that the flag be just a white flag. Mr. Churchill insists on some colors.
It was going to be called the Franco-British Union. Sounds like a train.
Definitely a British person that came up with that. Boring.
Chef Gordon Ramsay said that the British are overtaking the French in terms of what? Derek.
People that hate Gordon Ramsay.
Good answer. 2 points. 2 points for that. Chef Gordon Ramsay said the British are overtaking the French in terms of food.
The quantity?
I don't know. What tops the BBC's list of 10 things about Canada that are very British? Derek.
The Parliament is full of idiots. Yeah.
That's a 2.5-point answer. Not what I have here.
That is the right answer.
Okay, you're agreeing.
Yeah, that is the right answer.
You're agreeing. 10 things about Canada that are very British. The top of the list is spelling. Anyway, that's the firing line, everybody. This is it. Just about time for the Imperial Theatre audience to pick a winner. But first, here again to say that French culture is ooh la la and English culture is just nah. It's Francais défoncé, Derek Seguin.
Thank you. You know how hated the British are and how loved the French people and culture are? This is the perfect example. When Quebec tried to separate all of Canada, was like, no, please, Quebec, don't leave. We love you. We need the poutine and like the fashion and strippers we can touch and nice looking people that smell good. Don't leave us. We'll be so ugly and hungry. But when Britain put forward the whole Brexit idea, the rest of Europe was like, okay, ciao. Malacas, los cuyos, das Schweinhunds. Hey, hurdy birdie. I didn't have time to Google any Scandinavian insults, so that will have to do. The point is, all the country were happy to see you leave. Even though it hurt their own economy, it was worth it to not have to deal with you people anymore. Let me speak in a language you can understand, James.
Derek's holding up 2 fingers.
That's good to show you just how obnoxious these people are. They have to use 2 fingers to do what we here in Canada, James, could do with 1.
Okay. Was a salute
Thank
that
you.
Derek was showing. Thank you, Derek Seguin. Derek Seguin, defending the French culture. And for the benefit of those listening at home, I'm going to say that Derek signaled to James that he's number 1. Now, here again to tell us that he says pish-posh to the notion that French culture is superior, it's another bing of stiff upper lip from James Mullinger.
Of course British culture is superior. Look, what is the principal ingredient in poutine? You're selling this whole poutine thing. The principal ingredient is French fries. They call them French fries, but they were invented by the English. Quiche, soufflés, mousse, pâté, croissant, crepes. All stupid words, stupid foods with stupid hats on them.
Pretty sure you can't say quiche on the radio either.
The English, we invented scones with jam and, yes, crumpets. The French invented the baguette, stale bread designed to chip away at their nicotine-stained teeth. I travel the world doing this job, and I love arts and culture, and everywhere I go, I like to visit museums, theatres, art galleries. It's my passion. I've been to Montreal over 30 times. And where have I been in Montreal? Strip clubs, strip clubs, strip clubs, and brothels. Although, to be fair, that is what happens when Derek Seguin is your tour guide.
You're welcome.
I jest, of course. I love French culture, but it's just a fact that British culture is better. I moved here because I want to be a part of Canada. I will never try and separate. God save the Queen, and God save Canadians who actually like being a part of the greatest country in the world, Canada. A country that thrives on British culture, and for that, you are welcome.
James Mullinger. Some excellent points. All right, audience. It is up to you to pick a winner. By your applause, who thinks that James' English edicts were excellent? James Mullinger. A lot of love for James here in St. John. And who thinks Derek's French Facts and Funny finished first? Derek Seguin. The audience has spoken. They think the French culture is better. The winner is Derek Seguin. Big hand for Derek Seguin, James Mullinger, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying whether you're French or English, I think we can all agree Spanish is sexier. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night!
The Debaters is created by Richard Side. This week's episode was produced by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, and Josh Bailey, with technical production by Pat Martin and Larry Walker. Tracy Rideout is the executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy. And thanks to everyone at the Imperial Theatre in St. John. Hey, Debaters fans! Want to be a part of the debating action? Visit our website for a list of upcoming shows across the country. We're at cbc.ca/thedebaters.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.